У Патрика 14 лет опыта в маркетинге. Патрик управляет компанией Mелвилл Marketing Solutions. Вот, и у него интересный доклад на тему, как с помощью видео можно завоевать внимание заказчика. Патрик.
Thank you very much. I must remember to speak slower. Is that okay? Well, nice to be here. My first time in Kiev. Amazing. I'm hoping tomorrow I get some time to have a proper look around. But yeah, thank you very much for coming here. So my presentation is going to be about using the screen to engage with the audience. The context is that my background is I'm in marketing. I work also sales as well. So this is a tactic, this is a specific kind of way to communicate. However, what I also want to think about to help you is think, how does this fit in? Problem is sometimes people, brands tend to do this because everyone else is doing this. But they don't step back and think, why? A good example again is, I'm on a Facebook page. Well, why do you want a Facebook page? Because my competitors have a Facebook page. Or I'm building a website. Or I'm building an app. Or I'm building this brochure. Or why? I think, hopefully, think about, is this relevant for you? And hopefully, using the small screen and videos, which I'll talk about, is a good place to start. Right. Hopefully this is going to work. Am I pressing the right button? Yeah, great. Thank you. So, going too fast. Okay. So I want to talk today in 3 sections. What are the trends in the screen? Give a case study of a client that we've done this with, some work with, and then best practice. How you should move forward. What things should you think about? I'll go backwards. I'm not going in the right direction. Right, the power of the small screen. And let me start with a video. I think. This is a bit of fun that has been used by a B2B company. You'll start again, it's quite a short video. Okay. So that's an example of a video that was easy to make. It was done on a phone by a big brand, big company called Barclaycard. And what they were doing was talking about their longest transfer as a product they had. But they connected it with a nice emotion because they knew the customers, everyone likes an animal. It's a nice story. And they had 130,000 people viewed it. So a very simple thing to do, which had success in terms of engagement. Sorry, I keep going the wrong direction. So that proves this trend. This is it's called mobile data traffic. And you've got these three devices: mobile PC, tablet, smartphone. And the big trend is obviously video. This is the global research which was done by Ericsson, which was launched last week. So there's a fact. People are using their phones, their screen, their big laptop or their mobile phones for video. So if they're there, shouldn't brands be there also? And this is not stopping. This is where we are today. This is the volume of mobile data. So the main trend is purple again, which is video. So it's going to go by 14 times growth between 2000 and 21. People are going to use it more. Also, a big push is going to be social networking. So this is the forecasted trend. And one of the things that B2B happens in the B2B space is that companies traditionally have focused on using marketing to be very conservative. It's about price, it's about promotion. However, where the need is and the opportunity for brands like yourselves is to engage on an emotional level. And I'll come on to that. The approach from B2B is about no news is good news. But I think with digital, that has to change, and it is changing. The problem is that companies, for example, this is a list of the FTSE, which is the top 100s in the UK. I tried to look for Ukraine, this data didn't exist, in terms of showing 67% of the top 100 do not have mobile-friendly sites. And that's it. My previous charts have shown that people are using mobile phones more for different things and ways of using it. So surely as a company, you should have a mobile-friendly site. It doesn't mean you have to build an app. It doesn't mean you have to build a mobile-friendly website, but you need to be something that you can look at your small screen. So that's the problem, but of course, that's the opportunity for brands like yourselves. And also, that's what your customers are looking for. Either they know it or they don't know it. And of course, the big question at the moment is about mobile, and then on the B2B space, I think later on there's a conversation about lead generating. But on the B2B space, if everyone's on mobiles, how can you use it? How can you use it to engage? For e-commerce, for branding, for lead generation, for those kind of things. The reality, which I touched on earlier, another session was about you need to align what the reality of your brand is, how people will look at you, and what the reality is. And again, videos can help do this. So where do you start with a video? And this is relevant for not just video, but everything. You start in the middle of your brand. If you understand your brand, your company values, then you can link into all these different, then you can push messages to customers about your brand. Products, they fit your brand. These all need to be connected. And a good way of connecting it is through your video. But once you know your brand, this is a kind of a trend which has been discussed in in the marketing spheres I'm working in. You channel media into paid. So this is media you pay for, platforms like buying advertising. Owned platforms, which is platforms that you own, like your website, like your social media, like events that you have, like meetings that you own. And then earned. The conversations that your customers will have after you push your messages to them. And this is a kind of conversation, this is the kind of way that clients are thinking about. And the important thing is that this is across PR, advertising, direct marketing, events, anything marketing sits within here. So you need to companies are rethinking, if I have a video, if I have a piece of research, if I have some thought leadership pieces, how can that sit across all these things? Just don't think advertising stays here, because you're trying to push people which are your fans, which are your customers, to talk about you. We know that word of mouth is more powerful. You listen to your friends. That's why Facebook's so strong. You listen to your friends less so than you listen to a billboard when you drive down the motorway. So when we're getting towards now the video, we've done the brand strategy, where it's going to sit. Now we think about what kind of use does it have? And this is emotional, rational. This is awareness. This is what they call the purchase funnel. So what are you trying to do? Are you trying to push awareness? Are you trying to get your customers to consider you? Are you trying to get them to buy you? And these are the marketing tools that are used at the moment. So for example, let's say white paper, which is a thought leadership piece. It educates the consumer. It's quite rational. It's quite conservative. But there's definitely a gap, for, as I said before, the B2B, to emotionally engage and to entertain. And I think this is where video sits. Like the cat. The cat was a way that got customers to emotionally engage. So I want to talk about Shell. The challenge that Shell had was that they were talking to a lot of customers, and they wanted to know who the most important ones were. And of course they talked direct for like lubricants, for selling things in a direct net like petrol. But also they found a real niche, which were they called special publics. The special publics were people in government, people in academics, people like NGOs, non-for-profit organizations who are obviously like Greenpeace, and other organizations in the energy sector. They're very hard to reach, of course. You know, their advertising or other kind of marketing is very bad. So they needed to, they realized that people don't want to engage more. So they put together this program, and this video captured the whole program all together. It connected everything, and I've got, hopefully I can show you that now. Might be able to play it, stream. So have a look at, just see how it's put together and the kind of the type of people that are in it.
EU's emission reduction goals for 2030. What challenges and opportunities? Following the latest Comet Visions debate in Brussels, we asked members of our panel to comment further on the EU's emission reduction goals for 2030. What challenges and opportunities present themselves following the setting of these targets?
Well, I think there are some targets which are ambitious enough. On other targets, like for example the energy efficiency target, I think we could have done much more.
Well, they open in many ways doors for serious conversation how to implement them. So both companies and investors still need much more clarity. There are many ways of getting there, but one of them would be increasing carbon price floor.
You always look for a silver bullet, but there probably is not one single element. What is important, not just look at targets, but look at policy instruments. Look at various sectors. What is driving low cost abatement? What is driving innovation? A carbon price will help, but you will have to look at the automotive sector. You have to drive efficiency in the building sector. So you need a combination of pricing, of standards, of best practices, and a lot of innovation.
The question is, how do you do the transition, given that different member states and different companies are different stages. So the real challenges are transition challenges. They have to be taken seriously, and one has to minimize the risk of stranded assets on the way, not lose competitiveness on the way, and find ways to link this into a global discourse of what are others doing as well.
I hope each and every country would pull its own weight, because at the end of the day, ultimately, this is a global challenge. What happens or what does not happen in any member state or in any other country will have an effect on each and every one of us.
The deal reached between the US and China is an important one. Together they are half of the emissions. Europe is only 10%, but the three of them have now put forward their commitment, their pledge. So it's up to that climate change diplomacy in the coming year to get all the other countries, including very important countries like India, for example, on board as well.
So far, the political will seems to be there, but you mentioned something really important, financing. So really and truly, I'm hoping also that the investment plan that Juncker is proposing, these 100 billion euros.
Right, we can stop it there. You get the idea. But I think what this shows, how is Shell going to connect with their audience? How are they going to get people, these people in fact, to be engaged? Yeah, thank you. And what it does was that we'll come into why, but what was quite good was the results. So these people were participating in the video. So the video was about trying to get people to give their perception, to give their opinion. And sometimes people like a bit of an audience, don't they? They like to talk about what they're thinking and to be heard. And the results really, I mean, this is awareness from a big advertising campaign, but here, these are partners that they had. So 20 events were broadcasted. There were non-for-profit people that were involved, so anti-Shell people. Shell partners were involved. They had 849 people contributed, and this is through a website, including 7 mayors, 19 members of parliament, and 37 CEOs. The special public, the audience, were granted permission to be featured in a monthly version of a partner who had a magazine, and they publicized bloggers. So you had this big program that Shell had, and what Shell did was just open the platform for them. So why was it successful? And I think hopefully if I go through this, it gives a bit of context. First, they found existing customers and advocates. So they found to be in this video. And the video is a nice platform, for, again, as I said, for people to tell everyone how amazing they are. I'm going to be in video. I'm on video. So I'm going to tell my friends and family I'm on video. And so it's an easy win if you find a customer who wants to talk about you, and advocates, people who like you. You can also use clients. So your clients can do this. Your employees can do this. And I think this is the kind of thing that worked well with Shell. They also find partners. So again, do you remember I mentioned paid, owned, earned media? The kind of partners are the owned. They have their own space, and you can say, we can give you this video, and you can put it on your website. And I think, be open, always be open to who would want to see this. Shell did it, so they did it with European Voice publication, they did it with other competitors, other academic companies. And the last one is that Shell had to be a consultant, could be independent and only not linked to Shell. That was the content. They weren't saying how amazing they were. That video was 3 very influential people in the special public audience talking about the issues that was connected to Shell. So I think videos can bring this to life. You can get the right people to do it. So once you've got your video, you also think about distribution. Think about, sit back and who can see it. And what Shell were doing is that they had one-to-one. So they sent it, for example, the people who were interviewed, they said, Shell said to them, we can send you this video to you before we send it to anyone else. So they felt special. And it worked because they sent them the video and they had meetings with it. Another one was also, they sent it to the audience community. So other media, other bloggers, other companies, and internally in Shell. So they sort of told everyone about it with this video that could do this. And then lastly, they sent it out to the wider spectrum. So national publications, PR, networks, so display video, social media, blogs, forums, and paid for content and marketing automated. So my point there is that companies that you speak to have their own content, okay? You don't have to create it for them necessarily, but you could help them pull it in. So Shell had all these amazing people, had all this expertise, And what this project did was say, let's just put it all together. Let's help you put it together. So I think it shows sometimes that your customers, sometimes your clients aren't really aware of what they have until you mention these kind of things and suggest it with them. So what content do you have? This is quite a good example, and this is about where digital is going and being dynamic. This is a dynamic ad unit split into 3 different stages. The first one is the video. So you can click there and watch a video. This is what has Shell had on the website. So I can watch the same video. The second one is you can ask a question. So you can ask the question, yes or no. So which is related to the video. So you're creating content from it. And also you're engaging with the person, you're asking them for them. And because people are quite, selfish and egocentric, they like to, it's about me, of course they're going to put it on there and give their opinion. So these people in government, these people in academics and universities, these people in big organizations, they wanted to be heard by their own peers. What they really wanted to hear from and was to share their opinion was with other people. What does everyone else think? I'm a CEO of Shell. What does the CEO of Exxon, Rex Tillerson, think? What does the head of parliament think? And this is a way where we collected that data. And then lastly is a comment, you can leave comments there. But I think what this is built around is that 2 things. Digital can do anything, it really can. You can build any sort of different interactive, the video, interactive content, and comments. And I think that's what clients want to welcome, but also you build it about what they want. And they're selfish, they want profile, okay? This is basically, when you look at your content strategy, think about these 6 things. So what's your strategy, and excuse me, there's a little text, so you don't have to read it, I won't explain it all, but the strategy in this case, was asking for opinion. They're asking all these important people, what's their opinion? Then, for example, you ask your audience, who's going to watch it? Existing clients or new clients? And this is quite interesting, content. How are you going to get people to interact? And you need to provide incentive, and that's your classic marketing move at the moment. You need to incentivize people to engage. What are they going to get by doing it? What am I going to get by buying it? So here it was increasing profile. So the head of CEO, the person of the European Parliament actually was then getting a profile in front of all these amazing people. So they all wanted to do it. They could also register for an event, so they could go to the event afterwards. The tools that you use in the content, which I've just shown you, can be innovative and integrated, like the video and the poll. And of course, you can have high profile people. Then you talk about distribution, which was what I've talked on, where does it go? And then community management. So you give it, you filter out who it goes to. So this is the kind of, and the results obviously they come out when they do, which I showed you also. So this is the kind of template, when you want to do something, especially video, what are the kind of things that you should do? So these are now more tips, which I feel are very sort of important. These are 3 tips for when you create content. You should do one of 3 things. First one, be informative. Inform people about things. What's happening? That's why, this is why we read content. You're here, perhaps, you're not, I'll come on to it, but you're here really to get information. Also to learn what's happening, what are other people doing, what are my competitors doing. So that's the same format for content as well. Information, learning, and of course humor. You will watch something like The Cat. The Cat was that people watched it because it was quite funny. So when you're building something, you should do those things. If you're doing a video for your company, these are the 3 steps that you need to think about. You talk about us, what do we do? Okay, this is what we do. Then you talk about what our customers think about us. So So you get some of your customers come on board and just maybe give a tour. So, you know, or you talk about work that you've done for them. And then you talk about what we think, in that order. Because if I don't know you, I first want to know what you're doing. Then I just want to make sure that I'm actually making the right decision by looking at your video or even website. And then if I've bought into, if I like what you do, if I think you've got the right customers and I might want to work with you, then okay, I want to know more. What do you think? How can you contribute to my business? This is a bank, HSBC, which has a YouTube channel, so it has all these different channels at one place, which people can easily access, which is quite well received. This is something not to do. A company called Asian Pulp and Paper, which is the biggest pulp and paper company in the world, they put on YouTube this video, which was 2 hours, 17 minutes. And this was put on their website as well. And again, that's not thinking, you know, only 572 views. I think they just thought, let's just put the camera there, because we have to create a video. You know, at the beginning I was saying, create a video, okay, these guys did it. Put a camera there and let it go in. And I think people need to understand that it's relevant to the distribution and the place you put it. Also, it needs to be mobile friendly. So as I said at the beginning, everything's going mobile. Ooh. Everything's going mobile, so it needs to be mobile friendly. And also, a good point is, you don't always have to put it on YouTube. A lot of people put it on YouTube, but then you don't get the data. These are different companies that you can put your video with, and you get the data from it. You can get who looks at it, for how long, how many times they click through the stuff, whereas on YouTube you don't. This is a good example of IBM. IBM have used Twitter, and they've got a dynamic format, which if you look at, it's not very popular at the moment, but it's going to be used more and more. So this doesn't really show it, but when you're just on Twitter, it's dynamic, and it lasts about sort of 3 seconds. So again, think about what do people want to see. And then this is the IBM video, which, can we have the video, please? So again, think about what you want to know about. So a bit of context. So obviously everyone knows Wimbledon, but what they do is that they partner with IBM, and IBM provide a lot of the data behind it. So instead of just giving that data to Wimbledon, they use it as a campaign to push out to the B2B market as well as B2C, explaining what happens. But it's also, this video is quite dramatic, and again, emotional. Just 4 seconds. And I think we'll leave it there. I think my time is out. Okay, okay, well I can do one more slide then, excuse me. So I hope that showed, so IBM were providing this technology to Wimbledon. So when a commentator says that is the fastest serve today, that's provided by IBM. And what IBM decided to do was to take it a step further and say publicly, this is what we do. And to show the value of data collecting, the value of their customers. And of course, it's a nice connection because it's an emotional connection because Wimbledon is it's a global competition. So, summary about video in the context. Think about how that fits into overall brand strategy. What's video going to do? Who's going to watch it? And also, when you're putting it together, use the influence to connect with the people who are going to watch it, the audience, the people who are going to be in it. Think about them. You don't have to get Brad Pitt. You can get people who are going to be very willing to do it. And think about the stakeholders, people who are going to have it and use it. And that's it. So yeah, happy for any questions about the video or more general marketing things.
Patrick, thank you very much for interesting information. Если у вас есть вопросы к Патрику, можно задавать.
Wow.
Я так понимаю, рассказ Патрика был...
Насколько эффективно использование видео на сайте? Не просто видео, когда сайт в формате. Вот часто сейчас используется задний фон сайта и есть видео.
На подложке.
Да, главное ударение сзади видео движется.
Да, насколько эффективно и насколько оно не отвлекает.
Patrick,
Yes.
how efficient using video for website background?
I think it's a great idea. There's
Effective? How much?
Well, obviously that's the big question in terms of, it depends on the company, but to answer your question, subjectively, it's definitely better because it's dynamic. The websites, the companies that have dynamic, that have a video in the background are the ones that immediately you're going to look at. So, for example, Airbnb, I don't know if they're here, but they're a big travel company, a big accommodation company, and they've done that. And to launch a brand, it's a great idea, really good, and I think that's the way it should happen. Also, taking that a step further, not just don't think about video on the website. Think about it, PowerPoint presentations. Have it as I've worked with companies, and we put it as the first slide. So instead of this, it's static, I could have a video behind this, and immediately it's going to get my attention. So I work with a company that did, they sell video advertising space. And of course, their presentation should have a video in it. And I think people think PowerPoint must be static, email static, websites static. No way. Technology means that we can do so much more, and no one's doing it. So I welcome dynamic video, not just on the website, behind the website's great, but also presentations like this.
Thank you very much.
What is the best lens for the video to catch people's attention?
The best.
Lens.
Oh, good question. And that's one of the things where you need to have several. Short, I think people tend to stay in social media 10 seconds. For these videos I showed you, there were two minutes or 2.5 minutes. And then of course you can have longer. I think you need to do a bit of research to see where you're putting it, but hopefully you can cut it up. But generally short is good. If you want to know more, click here to find out more. And then you put the longer format if you want on the website. But I think the problem sometimes, if you think if you start by saying, I want it 2 minutes, you're contracting it. You know, what is a story first? You see what I mean? But definitely shorter. I think you have to mean roughly 2 to 3 minutes.
Typically what we see in video marketing is using video for attracting or for reaching our customer. But in B2B, especially in complex B2B, the problem is converting or nurturing. What about
Девушка, нужен микрофон, чтобы перевели вопрос.
this kind of video for this stage? Yeah.
So could you explain a bit about the problem that you have then? So is it selling, getting it done?
Yeah, I mean that typically we can reach customer or attract customer by using also other type of tactics, marketing tactics like emailing and so on.
Yeah.
And what we see now, the most using video is also used for attracting or reaching. But typically we don't have too much problem with attracting or reaching customers. We have problem with nurturing them, with converting them into customer, our prospects. So can you maybe say some example if video used for this type of sales cycle?
Yeah, I think the Shell example was quite good because the video was linked to events that Shell had. So they had events in Brussels, in London, in Paris. So the video wasn't just one, it was collecting of the day. So it's a bit like what we're here today. You know, your customers, you're here, how can you evolve, how can you retain? And obviously it's a marketing theme would be maybe there are other events happening to collect videos from them. But the good thing is they also, in the Shell's case, they got people to speak all the time to get their customers to engage with it. And that's how video can help. In terms of why video works, you can't just say use video. It's because it's dynamic form of medium. And as I said, people are quite, they do want to be heard. I want to know that people are listening to me in my account. So I think in terms of direct sales numbers, it depends on your business, it depends on what you're doing, but it can connect a lot of things that you do. A good example like Instagram, which General Electric are using. General Electric, you know, the big US kind of engineering company. And then Instagram is images of, very emotional images of a kind of science and engineering. They don't talk about their products, they don't talk about meetings. So originally people were like, well, why are you using Instagram? But what they do is that they have a little on Instagram if you can. And I'm sure on Facebook they do the same. They put these nice images. So I think they stood outside the ground. So my point is videos can be used for so much more things. Of course you're asking the audience to give you their attention, but you need to give them something they want. Some ways the hard bit is getting their attention, is keeping it, which is if you keep the theme. And again, I keep on going about today, having a brand. What does your brand mean? You're trustworthy, creative, innovative, and then you can build stuff around it. So a long answer. I hope it made sense.
Patrick, thank you very much one more time.